Welcome back to Timeout with J and G. I am Jay over here, and it's G over there.
Yo, what is going on, everyone?
And today we are back on a Wednesday episode. We have a lot to cover. If you guys saw by the title, we are doing NBA highs and lows. Basically, we each pick three either teams or players that we're really high on in the second half of the season. We expect to have a better second half, and then three teams slash players that we maybe are we're a little low on. Maybe might be have a rough second half. So we got a lot to get in there first. But before we do that, Levi, do you have your broken glass moment of the week?
I do have my broken glass moment of the week, and it is the Golden State Warriors going down 50 to the Boston Celtics at halftime.
Yeah, that was rough.
It was very rough. I mean, it was cool to watch as a Celtics fan, but that was. I think Curry went 0 for 9 from 3, had like 4 points or something like that.
Yeah, just no. I think I don't know if you saw it, but afterwards, Draymond Green had a comment that they made the game plan like 15 minutes before the game, and it was just to leave Jaylen Brown open. It's like it was weird.
It was very weird.
No professional team should ever be losing by that much.
Yeah, no. I mean, at the end of a game, we've seen it to where teams will lose by, a decent amount, like 30, 20, 30, 40 at the end of the game.
Right.
Let alone halfway through the game. That is just unprecedented.
Yeah. Actually, we have like legitimately breaking news right now, a minute ago from Adam Schefter.
Oh, what happened?
The Buffalo Bills are releasing two-time Pro Bowl cornerback Tre'Davious White. Buffalo will designate him as a post-June 1st cut, which will save them $10.2 million in salary cap, with $6.2 million in dead money.
Okay.
That's kind of surprising. I don't know. That's kind of surprising, but that was breaking news, so I wanted to throw that in there.
I seen the Bills cut returner Dante Harding or something like that, Harty.
Okay.
And Mitch Morris or something like that.
Yeah.
I think I seen that right before. Bills are also releasing returner Dante Harty and Mitch Morris, creating another $12.8 million in cap space.
I think my broken glass moment of the week is kind of just like a culmination of all the injuries we're seeing right now in the NBA. It's like obviously Julius Randle, OG are out. Jalen Brunson had his injury; he's gonna be out for a few games. Devin Booker's out for at least a week or two with his injury. It's just like, and there's so many more. Like there's a lot of injuries right now, and Donovan Mitchell missed the game. Like it's just I don't know. Seeing your best players out just makes the league a little bit harder to watch. Or like Scotty Barnes, like yeah. So just so many players are out, and it sucks.
It does. It really hinders the game, especially with like the Knicks. They're down 3 of their best players.
Yeah, and
which is really gonna
Isaiah Hartenstein's hurt. Like the Knicks, man. We'll get into them later, but the Knicks are really being hit by the injury bug.
Yes, they are. Also, on another note, I just found this out. This was released 2 hours ago from the Washington Commanders. Zach Ertz signs a 1-year deal with Washington.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
They're not going to have a quarterback to get it to him, but I mean, sure.
Yeah, I mean, it just
well,
I don't understand why he'd go to the Cardinals. If he wanted, I don't know.
All right, well, before we get into our highs and our lows, Levi here has compiled all of the franchise tags that have been placed in the NFL. So go ahead and give this out for us.
Alrighty, so started off, we're going to go to the Baltimore Ravens with defensive tackle Justin Madubuike.
Okay.
The tag is worth $22.1 million. Then we go on to the Panthers. They franchise tagged Brian Burns.
Ooh.
And that tag is going to be $24 million, and people are thinking that it's going to be a tag and trade. That's what some people are saying. That's what CBS.
Didn't he wanted an extension? I thought, and the Panthers were the ones that didn't want to give him the extension.
Yeah, CBS is prediction is tag and trade, and then Justin, they're expecting an extension to be done. Then we go to the Bears. Jalen Johnson, the cornerback. His tag price is $19.8 million, and they're predicting that it's going to be a long-term deal before July 17th.
Yeah, I expected that. He's one of the better young corners in the league, so he's going to get a big payday.
Oh yeah. Then we go into the Bengals. They franchise tag T. Higgins. The price on that is $21.8 million, and they're predicting it's just going to be a 1 year and out. They're just going to keep him for this 1 year, and then he's going to hit free agency next year.
Which, yeah, I mean, honestly, T. Higgins is going to start demanding wide receiver 1 money, and you're already going to have to pay Jamar Chase that. Mm-hmm. And, I just think he's going to want more money than the Bengals are really comfortable paying him. And they're like, okay, we have Joe Burrow coming back this season. Let's make one more run while he's on the tag before we have to pay him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just tricky when you have 2 wide receivers that could both legitimately be number ones, because then they're going to ultimately want number 1 money, and you legitimately can't do that. You can't pay them that much.
No, not when you're paying Mixon, Burrow, all that. Yeah, no.
Yeah. On to the Colts. They franchise tagged Michael Pittman Jr.
Okay.
The hit on that is $21.8 million. And fun fact, the last player to be franchise tagged by the Colts was punter Pat McAfee in 2013.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised by it, to be honest with you, but yeah. And they're predicting that Michael Pittman Jr. is going to sign an extension at some point, probably before July 17th. I don't see him going anywhere.
They desperately need wide receiver help, so I don't see them letting their only good option go.
Yeah. Now on to Jacksonville, Josh Allen. Not the quarterback, the outside linebacker, yeah. Josh Allen. His franchise tag hit is going to be $24 million, and they're he's going to play out 2024, and then it's going to be a weird standoff in 2025.
Okay.
We'd send wanting to franchise tag him again, not give him an extent. It's going to be one of them weird things that they're predicting is going to play out.
I wonder if it might be dependent on how good they are this season. If they have a rough season, they might just be like, all right, let's get him out of here, start new.
Probably. Now on to the Chiefs. L'Jarius Sneed, and his hit is going to be $19.8 million, and they're predicting a tag and trade.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, I guess it just depends on his interest in playing for him. Because, I mean, he was great for him. Oh, yeah. And like I said, if he wants to be gone, then I guess the tag and trade will make sense. But if I'm the Chiefs, I don't see why, if we're tagging him with hopes of re-signing him, then let him play on the tag and let's see if we can win in that Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. The only reason they would trade him would be if he wanted to go.
Yeah, the Chiefs told him to seek a trade. So it could be a thing to where, like, because he's going to want because he was playing good for the Chiefs last year, and if he keeps going like that, he's going to want a good amount of money.
Yeah.
And with who the Chiefs are paying right now, they might not have that money. And so they might just want to get something back for him right now, coming off of that Super Bowl.
It's true. Value's high right now.
Yes, it is. And for the last one that I have is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers franchise tagged Antoine Winfield Jr.
Okay, Antoine Winfield Jr. Yep.
His tag hit is going to be $17.1 million, and their CBS is expecting them to have a deal done before July 17th for a long-term deal.
Yeah, I don't see him going anywhere.
Yeah, especially since they re-signed Mike Evans to a 2-year deal.
I didn't like that, but yeah, they did.
Yeah, you're a Cowboys fan. It's understandable. You wanted Mike Evans on the team.
Well, not even that.
Mike Evans on the Cowboys.
Not even that though. But it's like he's been such a great receiver. He's just been like a consistent good receiver for years, and I think it's pretty like writing on the wall that Tampa Bay team's not going to be competing anytime within the next few years. I would have just rather him go somewhere and try to get another ring.
Then again, he could have gotten a ring, and he just wants to be loyal to Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I mean he's got a ring there, so you know.
Yeah. Alrighty, that is all the players that I have for the franchise tags.
I was scrolling and I didn't realize because the Bills released Trey White, they also released Jordan Poyer.
Wow.
So they're just letting their whole. I mean, you know what it is, right? It's because they gave Von Miller that 6-year extension for a lot of money, and he sucked. And now they have no money to pay any of their defensive backs.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes.
Hey, Poyer to the Steelers. I'm here for it.
And it looks like here that the Cowboys are picking up the 5th-year option on All-Pro Micah Parsons.
Nice.
Yeah. His option is under a defensive end, which is $2.7 million less than a linebacker. So we're getting him a little bit cheaper.
A little bit cheaper. Oh, yeah. I seen this report, and I seen this report this morning, but the Seahawks release Jamal Adams, Quantrell Diggs, and Will Disley.
Mm-hmm. Jamal Adams is a good player, but he's just he hasn't been healthy for the Seahawks at all. It's been constant injuries.
Yeah. Adams hasn't really been the same these past couple this last year.
But like, and that's what it's such a stupid thing because like when he plays, he's pretty good still. Like he's still a good safety. Just like he can never be on the field. And I don't know. That Seahawks team looks like they're going in a rebuild direction.
Yeah, they should. They tried to stay competitive by getting Geno and doing that, but I don't know. It's rough, especially with the juggernauts that are in the NFL right now. I don't see a Cinderella run coming.
Yeah, one's in their conference, too, with the 49ers.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, you ready to move on?
Yeah. So the main reason we are here today is the NBA highs, the NBA lows. Like I said, 3 players or teams for high and 3 players or 3 teams for low. I'll be honest, I got 5 teams and only 1 player. I don't know how you split yours up. That's just kind of how I did mine.
I have. It's kind of I think 3 and 3.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 3 and 3.
So I mean, yeah, we might as well jump into this. Do you want to start with a high or do you want to start with a low? I figure we'll go. You go one, I'll go the other, and we'll kind of go back and forth.
Let's start with the lows.
Okay, so you'll do your low, and then I'll do my high. Like we'll jump back and forth.
Okay, yeah, that works. So I'll do a low, you do a high, and then I'll do a high, you do a low.
Yep. All right, go ahead.
All right, my number 1 is Jordan Poole. He just has not been playing good at all. His shooting from the field is at 40%, and it's almost about to drop down into the 30%, 39%. His 3-point shooting is almost 30%, which it's just not good. He's chucking up shots, and Kyle Kuzma is outplaying him. Let's be honest here. Kyle Kuzma is playing better than Jordan Poole right now.
So I got a question real quick before you get into that more. Did you do like for the entire season or what you expect for the second half?
What I expect for the second half and what already happened. Jordan Poole is not going to get better.
Okay. I did mine in a way of like how I see these teams and players fluctuating for the second half, not the whole season. But if that's what he did, it's fine. I just want to see what was going on there. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, Jordan Poole, he sucked the first half, and I feel like he's going to do even worse the second half.
I mean, hey, that's fair.
There's no projection that it's going to go any better than what it is right now. I think it's going to get a little bit worse.
Let me pull it up here. They're stuck with him. I mean, obviously, you might be able to trade him in a couple of years, but for the time being, you are stuck with Jordan Poole for let's see how many years here. Contract. I know he's in the first year of a 4-year extension, so it's like that's $123 million. It can get up to 140 with incentives, but I have a feeling it's not going to get there with the way he's playing. I don't know what the incentives are, but that's a lot of money to be playing to a guy that's just he just hasn't been good. Like I don't know how else to put it. I think the best way I can describe Jordan Poole was that like he was your dynamic off the bench scoring guard. And now that he has the attention as the number 1 option, it's not there.
Yeah, no. And like I said, he's the main focus, but Kuzma has been outplaying him, and Kuzma's going to continue to outplay.
Kuzma has had a pretty – I mean, like I said, they're bad. So like but Kuzma's had a pretty quiet, he's had a pretty good season quietly, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, considering they've lost 15 in a row.
Yeah.
No, there's actually something funny is if the Wizards keep losing and get to the record point to the Pistons set this year, the game that would break the record for most losses in a row would be against the Pistons.
Oh, that's nuts. I think it's what the record now is 27 from the Pistons. So you're saying their potential 28th loss in a row would come against the Pistons. That would be that game.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh, that would be very poetic, honestly. I can't lie.
That would be absolutely hilarious, especially after, was it Kuzma or Poole that tweeted?
It was Kuzma.
Don't be that team at this point.
So my question is, like I said, we're in year 1 of 4 of that contract. There's no way teams are biting on that contract. Like, when's the earliest you can see Jordan Poole possibly being traded, or do you think he's going to have to be stuck there in Washington to finish the contract?
Either his 3rd year, or he's going to get stuck.
Yeah, I think it's either the last year of it. Like, at the deadline of his last year, it's like, hey, listen, do you want Jordan Poole off your bench for a playoff run, and then, or you're just going to sit on the, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's going to be it.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get traded within the next 2 years. I really don't.
Poor Washington, man. That set them back so far. Like, they already weren't good, but like now you're overpaying a guy that's just not good. I don't know. It's not good for them.
Yeah, yeah. Alrighty, what's your high?
My first high is the Denver Nuggets, okay? And I know this is something we talked about in an episode about a week or two ago when we were predicting our second halves, or like our standings. And you had them jumping up higher than I did, but I just think between right now, the Nuggets are a healthy team with their starting 5, their bench. Like, they're just overall, they're a really healthy team. And some teams in the league are not that lucky right now. And they've said it themselves. That report came out that apparently they have a group chat between the players, and Nikola Jokic sent a text to the group chat like after the All-Star break, like, hey guys, like this is when it starts. Like, this is when they're like, okay, because I remember in an interview earlier in the season, Michael Porter Jr. said they're kind of on that championship hangover, but now we're at the second half of the season, they're locked in, and I think you're going to see them take this second half way more seriously, and I could see them jumping from, what are they, the 3 or the 4 seed right now?
They're the 3 seed right now.
I don't see, they could, I know they lost to the Suns last night, but they could very well end up as the 1 seed. They're only a game back, and it's between the Timberwolves and the Thunder right now ahead of them. They could possibly end up as a 1 seed.
I think they'll have the 1 seed by the end of March.
Yeah, I just think they're the most, like, all top 4 seeds right now are good. But they just, obviously they have the most experience being a championship level team. And I just think they have the best player. They have the best player in the NBA on their team with Nikola Jokic. And I just think that's going to really propel them into being a 1 seed.
And the funny thing about the West is 1 through 4 is all together.
Mm-hmm.
And then 5 through 10 is kind of all together.
Yep.
This is funny how just 1 win or 1 loss can just fluctuate it.
I love that, though. It makes you competitive every night.
It does. Alrighty. So my next down.
No. You go to high now. Remember?
Oh. Okay. We're gonna switch back like that. All right. My first high is the Orlando Magic.
Okay.
They have been playing good basketball so far. I think it's going to get even better as the second half goes on. If it was a little bit closer, I think they're going to give a Cavs a run for that 3 seed.
Ooh, okay.
I think the Magic are going to contend for that 3 seed in this back half of the season. I don't necessarily know if they're going to get it, but I feel like towards the end they're going to be about a game, maybe 2 games back.
Right.
Of that 3 seed. It's going to be really close. Really, really close for the 3 seed. And depending on what Milwaukee does, it could be the 2 seed too.
Yeah, no, I like this Magic team, man. I really like Paulo, Franz, Wendell. Like, a lot of the things they got going on. I just wish, I know we kind of talked about the other episodes. Like, I just wish they would have went out at the trade deadline and really got like a consistent starting point guard.
Yeah.
Because like I think you're happy with Jalen Suggs. You're happy with Cole Anthony being like a bench guard. I think they're gonna look to move on from Markelle Fultz. That's just, I mean, it's going okay, but it's not. He's not going to be their lead guard, and you'd rather have Cole Anthony off the bench. And obviously, you have Anthony Black, the rookie, but they don't really have. The only thing that scares me about this team to like take them seriously in the second half is like the lack of like true point guard play.
That is true. Yeah, that is a hole in this Orlando Magic depth chart and roster, is they don't have that true point guard that can, in my opinion, facilitate an offense and get people into sets where they need to be and put people in scoring position.
Yeah, but they have a lot of talent. Paulo's been fantastic, so they have a lot of talent. They can definitely do it.
Oh yeah, I believe in it.
So my first low is the New York Knicks. They were a team I've talked about a few times that I think they could have maybe been an outside contender, and I still kind of believe that. But right now they're completely bit by the injury bug. The injury bug is on them so badly right now. I mean, you got to think about it. Let's see. I have it here. Let's see if I can find it. Jalen Brunson's day to day, because he had that knee contusion, won't be too bad, but every game matters. Let's see here. OG Anunoby was cleared for non-contact basketball activities, but we still don't really have a timeline for when he's going to be back. Julius Randle still hasn't ruled out having surgery to end his season, so you still don't know what you're getting from him. Mitchell Robinson's been out for I couldn't even tell you how long now, but he's finally out of a walking boot, but he still hasn't ran. He's not running yet, but he is out of a boot. Isaiah Hartenstein went down. It's like this team is severely injured, and that's why they're 3-7 in their last 10 games, and they went on a losing streak around the All-Star break. It's just, I think, like I said, I think the losing streak has a lot to do with their health, but it's like if two of your best players in OG, Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson's a good center, Isaiah Hartenstein's been great for them. If you're missing all these guys, you're not going to compete in the East with teams like Boston, obviously, and then Milwaukee.
Oh yeah, 100%. The Knicks, when healthy, fully healthy, are a contender in the East. I will say that. But like you said, with all these injuries and everything, it's going to be tough for them to even climb back up into that 3-4 spot.
Yeah.
They might even fall even lower, depending on how long all these players are out. They might even fall into the play-in.
I don't think they'll fall that far. I think they're comfortable where they're sitting right now.
Because it's only about half a game.
Yeah, I know that, but I just think they're better than the teams below them right now, and I think that's where I think this like 5 spot is kind of where they'll sit.
Yeah. Alrighty, so then to my next low, I have the Bulls, and the biggest reason for this is there's no sign of them getting better. And if there was another competent team right below them, they would get jumped and they would be either the 10 or even out of the play-in.
Right.
I am full-heartedly believe that if this Nets team in this second half could get something going, they could jump into the play-in.
They could.
And I could see the Bulls losing too many games and dropping out completely, which is what might need to happen for the front office to say, all right, this is over.
Unfortunately, I don't think they would. I really don't. I don't really have much to say about the Bulls. I mean, they're not good. They're not good. They haven't been good all season. They're not going to be good the rest of the year. They're just, I don't really have much to say about them.
Yeah, I if it wasn't for how bad everyone below them is. If the Hawks still had Trae Young for the back half of the year, Hawks jumped the Bulls. I truly believe that.
Yeah.
But it's like they're not contending, but they're not rebuilding. What are we doing here?
They're fine. They're okay with being mediocre, unfortunately. So I'll move on to my second high, and this is it's just a little bit of bias, but there's some reasoning behind it. My second high is the Los Angeles Lakers. And the reasoning I have behind this is that right now they're the 9 seed. We're only a half a game out of the 8 seed, and we're only like 2 games out of. We're only 2.5 games out of being the 6 seed, where we're not in the play-in. And if I look at the teams 6, 7, 8, it's the Suns, who obviously Bradley Beal's barely played all season, and now Devin Booker's going to be out for a while, and they're 5-5 in their last 10. I could very easily see them going on not a losing streak, but falling back, not being very good this next couple of weeks, about a week or two. And with only 2 games, being bad for a week can throw you down in the standings right now. The Kings, it's kind of with them. It's like they're 5-5 in their last 10, and I just don't know how much I trust them at the moment. Like, they're pretty similar. Their record right now is, I think, only 1 game off of their record this time last season. But last season they were the 3 seed. So the Kings stayed the same, but everybody around them got better, and they fell down in the standings for it. And their biggest claim to fame last season was De'Aaron Fox being the clutch player of the league. And this year he has been very far from that. And they're losing a lot of games in the back half because De'Aaron Fox is not what he was doing last year. So I'm a little worried about them. And then the Mavericks, man, Luka and Kyrie are both great players, but man, it's just not working. Right now, the pairing is just not working. They're really bad on the defensive side of the ball. The offense isn't as great as you would think it would be. And they're kind of still trying to figure out their role players. They don't really have a lot of role players. So, I say all that to say, the Lakers are 7-3 in the last 10. If they keep just a similar record up, they have no problem jumping these teams up to the 8 seed. Or, I'm sorry, to the 6 seed.
Oh, yeah, I believe that too with how everything's going and how the Lakers are. I even predicted that the Lakers were going to jump up to the 7 seed. I feel like that is going to happen. I feel like they are going to jump up. I think the Lakers are going to be hitting a stride here soon, and they're just going to go in the last 10 games, 7-3, 8-2, 7-3, and they're just going to keep rolling on. And they're either going to get the 7, the 6. I even think they could get the 5.
They could. The Pelicans are a whole different conversation with how they are.
Yeah.
But honestly, for this spot, I was debating between the Lakers and the Warriors, and I was kind of leaning on the Warriors, honestly. But getting blown out by 52, I'm like, I can't put them on there after that.
Yeah. It's a tough thing because you never know how teams are gonna play. De'Aaron Fox could just light it up and become what he was. You just never know. These things are hard to predict, but I think the Lakers are going to at least get the 7 seed when this is all said and done.
All right, what do you got next?
All right, my next high is the Milwaukee Bucks.
Okay.
Coming out of the All-Star break, it gave Doc Rivers enough time to implement what he wanted to do, get his rotations, everything that he needs to be able to have success. And this is just going to keep rolling. And I feel like they're going to close that gap between them and the Celtics down to about 3-4 games when this is all said and done. I think they're just going to keep rolling. And I feel like we questioned the firing of Griffin.
We did, yeah.
And the hiring of Doc. But I feel like in the long run for this back half of the year, I think it's going to benefit them more than it's going to hurt them because we've already seen their defensive rating go up majorly and their offensive rating still go up.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for this Bucks team. Kind of pretty much what you said. It's giving them an all-star break for Doc Rivers to get in there and put in his game plans. They've been great. Hell, even what was that? Was that Monday night? Or it was the other night. Giannis didn't play, and Damian Lillard went on for 41 and beat the Clippers. You know what I mean? So if you're getting that kind of Damian Lillard in this back half of the season, they're gonna be a really, really tough out in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, especially if they get that 2 seed and Miami stays out of the play-in.
Yeah.
That's going to be the big thing because then they might meet Miami second round, but that first round, let's be honest. The 1 and 2, the Celtics and Bucks, I'm pretty sure are going to get the 1 and the 2 seeds. Unless Miami drops into the play-in, they should have no problem taking the first series.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that.
Alrighty, what is your next down?
My next low, this one hurts my heart, but is the Indiana Pacers.
Ooh.
So they've dropped all the way to the 8th seed. They're 6-4 in the last 10, which isn't bad. But they're not going to drop any lower than 8, to be honest with you, because it's the Bulls and the Hawks down there. They might go up to the 7th seed with the 76ers because, with all their injuries. Tyrese Halliburton, since coming back from his hamstring injury, has been not great. And obviously the engine of your offense not being up to par makes your offense struggle. We already know they couldn't defend it. They can't defend a damn thing. We've known that all season. They have no defense, and now their offense is falling off. And you're not getting the pairing. You're not getting what you thought you were getting out of the pairing of Pascal Siakam and Tyrese Halliburton. Now, it's still very new. They still have a lot of time to work on it, so I'm not saying it's bad and they should get rid of it by no means. But just right out of the gate, it's not working as well as you wanted it to. So I just, like I said, Tyrese had that game the other night where he had 0 points. He had a negative 40 plus minus. That was an atrocious game. He fucking shot 0 for something from the field, didn't score a single point, only a couple assists. He was just awful out there, and it's like it hasn't been good since his return from injury from the hamstring. And I don't know, man. I'm a little worried. Well, I'm very worried about this team because there's going into at the first part of the season they were running high, kind of similar to what happened last year. I don't know if you remember. The first month or two of the season they were fantastic, and then Tyrese Halliburton had that injury and they fell down into the standings. Same thing's happening again this year, except this year they got Tyrese Halliburton back during the season. Last year they didn't, and they're just as bad now. I don't know. The way this team is constructed, I thought I liked it, and the more they play, the less I kind of like it.
Oh yeah, it really hurts that injury to Halliburton really derailed this team.
Mm-hmm.
And you hate to say that one player is derailing the whole team, but that hand injury really messed up this Pacers
hamstring.
Hamstring. That's right. Hamstring injury really messed up this Pacers team. And I'm just looking at the stats right here. The opponent's points per game, the Pacers give up the 3rd most points in the Eastern Conference.
And I guarantee you it's probably like the fucking Wizards and Pistons down there.
Maybe. The Wizards give up 124.7 points per game. The Hawks give up 122.3. The Pistons only give up 121.
Only.
The Pacers give up more points the opposing team than the Pistons.
And the Pistons have 9 wins.
Yes.
It's nuts.
But the Pacers average the most points per game in the East.
They do, but I wonder if you could look at that stat because they're still probably riding high off that front part of the season because it's not been that recently.
Oh yeah. I'm just looking at the overall season stats, but you're absolutely right. Since the All-Star break and even maybe a little bit before, it has not been the same team. Right. Not in the slightest.
What do you got next for us here?
Alrighty, what am I on, high or low?
I don't care. You got one. I have one of each left. So, do you have one of each left?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, just pick one. We'll do it.
All right. My last low is the 76ers. I don't think that Embiid should come back.
I feel like that's kind of a easy pick, but go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, Embiid shouldn't come back. Yeah. Let's be honest. Even if he says he wants to, he shouldn't. And Maxey is not going to lead the 76ers team. They're going to win a couple games.
Yeah.
Like every team does. But they're not going to make some unprecedented run and get back into the top 6 or top 5. It's just not going to happen. They're going to get into the play-in. They may make the playoffs, but then they're going to be a first-round exit. I don't really see this team going anywhere unless somehow, Embiid does come back. Like I said, don't think he should. Don't think he will.
Yeah, and he made that comment that he said it didn't matter what the record was, that he wanted to play, which I don't like that either. I don't want to see him come back and risk really, really hurting himself just to maybe win a first round playoff match and then be out again.
And even then, depending on how everything shakes out, he could come back, win a play-in game, then go to Milwaukee.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's just I don't think it's worth it.
No, I don't think it's worth it for the 76ers to potentially harm him even more. And they have the power over him to be like of course he's going to want to play, but they have the power as the organization to be like, no, you're our asset. You're not playing. We're not risking you getting hurt for this meaningless. We're not making a run this year. We have no reason to, what I mean? It's just, there's no reason to.
Yeah, we're just shutting you down. You're done.
Okay. So my last high is, it's kind of funny because I was just talking about these guys, but my last high is De'Aaron Fox. So the reason I say that is De'Aaron Fox, like I talked about with the Lakers, has not been the same player he was last year. And the first month or two of the season, he was having another really, really good year. But then once the beginning of the calendar year started, once the flip of the calendar year, it just hasn't been the same player. It hasn't been great. But if you look in the past month or so, he's put up 49-6, 38-8, 28-5-9, 33-6-7, 27-8-6. Missed a couple games, and then on Monday night, put up 20, a rebound, and 10 assists. He's slowly ramping it back up. And I think this Kings team is going to be fighting to try to stay out of the play-in. And I just think we already know Domantas Sabonis was an all-star snub. He's been a great form this year, and I think it's going to help De'Aaron ramp up more with all the attention now Sabonis is getting. So, I just think De'Aaron Fox is a good player. I think he was just going through a pretty big slump, honestly. And I think you're just going to start to see his resurgence. And I think that it kind of contradicts what I say about the Lakers, but I think it could propel them up past the Suns, up past maybe even the Pelicans.
Oh, yeah. As everyone's heard, I am a fan of Sabonis. Mm-hmm. I love Sabonis. And perfectly what you said. The attention that Sabonis is really getting now is going to help De'Aaron Fox because it's going to be like, oh, well, De'Aaron's not playing real good. We can let him do whatever. We got to basically stop Sabonis. And then, bam, De'Aaron Fox starts getting hot, and he keeps getting hotter. And the next thing you know, this team goes from 7-5 or 7 they go up.
Yeah, they could definitely go up.
Playing. And then whoever they play in the first round is going to be I shouldn't say a matchup nightmare, but it's going to make it more interesting.
Yeah, I just...
Especially depending on who they go against.
Like I said before, he was the clutch player in the league last year. He won the award for clutch player of the league. And I expect during the last bit of stretch of the season, we could see... He's not going to win it this year, but we could see why he won it last year. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Go ahead and knock out your last one, and then I'll hit my last one.
All right, my last one is a little interesting, but it's Alperen Sengun.
What is this, a high or low?
This is a high.
Okay.
Alperen Sengun just came off of a 45-piece against Wembanyama.
Yeah, he had a great game.
And I don't see any reason why it's going to stop. He's already averaging I don't have the number. Hold on, I have the numbers written down. Right now, he's averaging 21, 9, and 5, about. And I see no reason why that goes any lower. If anything, I feel like it might even go up a couple points. And he's on a bad Rockets team.
Yeah, they're not good.
They're not good. So this gives him even more position to get the ball more, to score more, you know what I mean, to get more stats. I feel like he's going to elevate his play towards the end of this year to where next year the Rockets may be a play-in team.
Yeah.
And they may even touch, they may even get, just a little, they might even get close to that 10 seed depending on how everything shakes out. But it's going to be an interesting back half of the year for the Rockets.
No, I agree. I think Ime has realized that Alperen Sengun is their biggest building block on that team. Obviously, you drafted Amon this year. You drafted Jalen Green a couple years ago, which there's been some turmoil there. We talked about last episode. You drafted Jabari Smith Jr., who I think is also one of your cornerstones. And then you have players like Tari Eason, stuff like that could be like helpful role players. You bring in Dylan Brooks, you bring in Fred VanVleet for like the veteran kind of leadership. But they know, I think now they realize that this team, for it to be the best it possibly can be, needs to be built around Sengun in a similar way the Nuggets are built around Jokic. Now, again, not comparing the talent level. It's not saying Sengun's as good as Jokic, but they're a similar style player. And I think it's shown with the Nuggets, you can win with that style, that a team built like that. And I think surrounding Sengun with good defenders and good shooters can take this team a long way. And you're getting that. Like, you brought in Dylan Brooks, you drafted Jabari Smith Jr., you like Tari Eason, you like Amin is a good defender, but is right now struggling to shoot the ball, but that's something that can be learned in time. Fred VanVleet's not going to be there for a long term, so I think he'll be there as they kind of bridge in their new point guard. But it's I don't know. I can't remember remember the coach they had before Ime. It's I'm really blanking on that, but he almost refused to give Alp like the chance to run the offense. Now that they've really Ime's given him a chance, you're just seeing a complete flourish of him.
Oh yeah, and the other thing I think is benefiting Sengun, even though he's not playing right now, is when they went out and acquired Steven Adams.
Yeah,
I feel like giving him that kind of like leader and kind of can teach him. You know what I mean? Because Adams has been into the playoffs. Adams has done a lot of things, and he has a lot of experience. And I feel like Sengun can only benefit from that.
Oh, definitely.
Especially setting screens, because we all know Steven Adams sets one hell of a screen.
Yeah, I mean, you saw how effective Steven Adams was. Well, obviously in OKC, and then in Memphis, just like being his role was different in OKC than it was in Memphis. But in Memphis, you really saw more of his veteran leadership, and I think that's something I don't know how much he's going to play for him because he's out for the rest of the season, I'm pretty sure, and I don't even know if he's contracted for next season.
I don't know, but even then, I feel like they still re-sign him.
Maybe.
Because, I mean, like...
It depends where he wants to go. If he doesn't want to play for him, then he's not going to resign.
If he wants to stay, then I feel like they re-sign him. But if he wants to go somewhere else, then he goes. But other than him, you got Jock Landale and Boban.
Yeah, and Jock Landale had a pretty decent run last year with the Suns when DeAndre Ayton was, just doing his DeAndre Ayton things. But I think Jock Landale very much benefited from having Chris Paul as his point guard because he's just not doing it this year with the Rockets.
Yeah, and that's why I think even though Steven Adams will be 31, I still think you can.
Wait, he'll be how old?
Steven Adams will be 31.
Damn, the way they talk about him, you think he's like 35, 36. I didn't realize he was still like I'd say young, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, he's only 30 right now.
That's interesting. I didn't realize that.
He'll be turning 31 on 7/20.
When I think back of like I remember him obviously like MVP Russ days, which has been 7 years now, 2017. And wow, it's just kind of crazy to think, yeah, he's still that young.
Yeah, Steven Adams is only 30, so he still has some good basketball left to play.
Yeah.
And I feel like, especially on this young Rockets team, he can bring that veteran leadership that, in the next 2 years, if he's still playing for the Rockets, of course, they can make a run. The Rockets, I'm not saying make a run for a championship in the next 2 years, but be a a contender to take the West, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I genuinely think within a couple years' time, just barring like anything crazy, like on this kind of progression, Alperen Sengun could be a top 5 center.
Oh yeah, we've heard it before. He's gotten the nickname Baby Jokic. Mm-hmm. So I mean, the tools are there. It's just the Rockets keeping this young core together and adding pieces to it that need to be added.
All right, my last is a low, and it is It's gonna sound like a homer, but it's the Los Angeles Clippers. The Lakers on the high and the Clippers on the low. And something about that, huh? No. The reason I'm saying is obviously you're dealing with the Paul George and the Russell Westbrook injury. Paul George is did he come back for the last game? Let me pull it up here. But I know they're hopeful that Russell Westbrook can be back by the playoffs. And like that's pretty much the earliest. And yeah, okay. So Paul George is back. He only missed a couple games, but he was dealing with some knee soreness. And before that, he was on a bit of a slump shooting. Wasn't great. So the question with this Clippers team has always been their health. Between Kawhi, PG, just like in the past couple of seasons, one of them or both of them have been hurt in the playoffs, and they just haven't been able to get it done. So they're 5-5 in their last 10. Again, a couple of those are without PG and Russell Westbrook, but I'm worried about them now, and I probably should have been worried about them when we did our second half standings. But for some reason I thought, but James Harden is a pretty notorious, not great player in the playoffs, and Kawhi is, but the health is always a thing. And PG has had great series. He also has a bad series. Health is always a thing. Russell Westbrook is, like I said, he's hoping to be back by the playoffs. And their bench depth, which I thought they had a lot of, has not been playing well. And it just seems like they're picking a really bad time to kind of lose the wheels off their wagon.
Oh yeah. And it hurts that it's come with injuries. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I had high hopes for this Clippers team. With how the past couple years have gone, I really had high hopes for this team. But it's just the fact that when you get towards the end, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, as we've seen in the past couple years, injury concerns are always a big thing. James Harden just for some reason never wants to show up. He doesn't want to show up during playoffs in big games. I don't know. It's going to be tricky for the Clippers. I do think that they're going to be on a decline this back half of the year, especially losing Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
Because now your backup point guard is Bones Highland.
Yeah.
And when you go from nothing against Bones Highland, but you're going from Westbrook to Bones Highland.
Yeah, no, it's there's a reason Bones Highland's been not playing and been on a couple of teams. Like, it's just like I said, I in my head going into the second half, I'm like, they have some depth. The depth just really isn't playing to what I thought it would. And I am worried about them. It's like I had them on a low, so hopefully Russ can be back for the playoffs. Hopefully PG and Kawhi can stay healthy. And honestly, this is like, I think this team is at their best when James Harden is at his best and like really facilitating and running that point guard role. But I do think on James Harden defense, this is the, like, if James Harden has a rough playoff series, he has Kawhi and he has PG there. They can win a series with that. On years past, like obviously in Houston, if he was bad in Houston, that team literally had nothing else going on, and they were gonna lose. In Brooklyn, it was the injuries. He got injured, Kyrie Irving got injured. It was just Kevin Durant out there by himself. And then you look in Philly, where you're like, okay, if James Harden isn't great, they have Joel Embiid, that's obviously like the superstar MVP, and then you have like decent role players like Tobias Harris, and this was like before Tyrese Maxey's big breakout. But like, it still wasn't enough because Embiid notoriously not been great in the playoffs. So this is like the best team that he's been on, where it's like James Harden could have a game where he shoots 2 for 12 and it has like 5 points, but he'll have 7-8 assists, and Kawhi and PG can have 30 and they'll win the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just think this is the team best built to help him in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, this was a nicely built team. I know a lot of us were questioning the Harden move for them to acquire Harden, but I feel like it's worked out for them.
Oh yeah,
and like you said, this is probably the best collective group of players that he's played with when he's been one of the big dogs. Because you can always go back and say, well, he was on that OKC team, but Russ was the point guard.
And they were all young back then too. None of them were even close to Yeah.
So you can't really throw the OKC thing out there. So this is probably the best group of players he's played with.
Mm-hmm.
When they've because like you said, If Harden doesn't do good, you got Paul George and you got Kawhi Leonard. Those two alone should be able to win you a playoff series.
Yeah, or at least a game if it's a bad game.
Yeah. Yeah, at least one game, those two should be able to win you. And then we're not even considering that if Russ does come back.
Yeah. Yeah. Norman Powell can come out and hit 5 threes in a game. You know what I mean? They have players that can step up if they need them. It's just they need PG, Kawhi, and Harden to be consistently good.
Oh yeah, 100%. And the other thing that they cannot lose is their seeding. If they drop to that 5-6 seed, it's gonna be tougher for their path to potentially win the West.
Yeah, and this is the last year they're playing in crypto. So, maybe they definitely, I'm sure they want to win the championship and then move to their new arena.
Oh yeah, that would be amazing for them. But it all depends on how. Obviously, it depends on how this team plays.
I mean, the championship trophy, the Larry Bryant, it's coming to crypto, but it's not going to that Clippers locker room.
Nah. That trophy's coming to Boston. Banner 18's getting raised.
Boston? Up. Hey, you mean the boys that haven't won a title in 16 years?
Hey, you got to give credit to that Boston team. They won a championship with Doc Rivers as their coach.
Okay.
We've notoriously known Doc Rivers for choking and being bad in the playoffs. They won a championship with Doc Rivers, all right?
Mm-hmm. We won with Frank Vogel.
You got me there. You got me there.
We had Rondo on our team when we won the championship.
You got me there with the Frank Vogel. You got me there.
Nah, Frank Vogel's not a bad coach. He's just, I don't know. He's not great. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we get up on out of here?
Go check out Paul's YouTube channel, Cloud2K. He's putting out some bangers. His Dynasty series. I'm loving it. I'm loving watching it. I know a couple of you out there are loving it. And he's throwing out some banger 2K videos, rebuilds, and different stuff like that. So go check him out. Yeah, please go watch my last video. Nobody's watching it. It's making me sad. No, but I'm kidding. Thank you guys for all the support on both the podcast and my personal YouTube. I know I don't want to put a lot of your business out there, but I know Levi was talking about maybe recording some stuff on his own, which I think would be cool. So maybe look forward to that sometime soon. I got a video. This is Wednesday. Yeah, I got a video coming out tomorrow already scheduled to come out tomorrow. And then this weekend on Saturday, you're going to be getting. Look, we're not going to have a podcast. We're not having a podcast on Saturday. It's going to be a special YouTube only video. So make sure if you're on audio, please come check it out on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. Be ready for that video. If you're on audio, go to I think it's Spotify. It's on. Go to Spotify, go to our page, leave it a 5-star review. That means a lot. Kind of gets us out there a little bit more. And yeah, that's what I got. Anything else for you? No, that's about it. I just hope everyone has a wonderful day. Yeah. So, like I said, no pod on Saturday. You'll see our video, and we'll be back talking on Wednesday. Peace.